Hey learners, welcome to Ahmad Coaching and I'm your teacher Dr. Anam. Today we are going to study about functions of xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem, they make vascular tissues in the plants. So they both are very important or fundamental because although they both are different from each other, but still they are performing very important and complementary functions for the plant, which is important for plant survival as well as growth. If you talk about xylem, the xylem word comes from the root word from the Greek. Word is xylom, which means wood. So overall, if you see, the xylem is actually a tissue in the plant which conducts water and nutrients upward from the roots to the rest of the plant. So water is going to move from the roots to the aerial parts of the plants by the help of xylem. While in case of phloem, the word phloem comes from the Greek word phlois, which means bark or outer layer. So the phloem, which is a tissue in the vascular plants, is going to conduct sugars and organic nutrients from the leaves to the rest of the plant. It will include the roots as well as bark or any other part of the plants. This is just a general overview of the functions of xylem and phloem. Let's dig deep into the detailed functions of both of these tissues. First of all, xylem. Xylem performs different functions in the plants including water transport, mineral transport, support, transport of signals as well as storage. The first function, which is the main and important function of xylem, is to transport water. So it's going to transport water from the roots to the rest of the plants or the aerial parts of the plants. Here you can see this part here, this is xylem, and the xylem is taking water from the roots and taking it upwards to different parts of the plant. One more thing is that this is a one-way flow of movement, that water is going to move from the lower part of the plant to the upper part. This upward movement is actually very important for the plants so that they can maintain their hydration, so that they have enough water to perform their activities or their metabolic reactions, as well as helping the plants to perform photosynthesis. We know in the photosynthesis plants they require carbon dioxide and water to make glucose and oxygen. So water is provided by the xylem, as well as the transport of nutrients throughout the plant is also done, because the nutrients, they are going to be dissolved in the water, and then the xylem, it can take it from one part of the plant to other parts. The second function is mineral transport. The xylem is involved in the transport of minerals. These minerals, they are actually absorbed by the roots from the soil. These nutrients, they might be potassium, calcium and magnesium, also nitrogen, which are important to perform different physiological processes of the plants. We know that these minerals, they are required by the enzymes so that the plant, they can perform different functions. The third function is support. Xylem provides structural support to the plants. The lignified cell walls of the xylem vessels and fibers contribute to the rigidity as well as the strength of the plants. So here we can see that this layer or this cell wall is very thick. This thickness is because of the lignin presence. That is why we say that these cell walls, they are lignified. Because of the presence of this lignin or the lignification of the cell wall, this provides the plant the rigidity and strength. So if you see the green small leaves, stems which are growing, actively growing, you can still, if you touch them, you can see how rigid they are or how turgid they are. They are like this because of the xylem. So this is going to help the plants to withstand the gravity as well as the environmental stress. We know that everything moves away from the earth, and to moving away from the earth you need the energy and the strength, and we have seen the plants, they move away from the earth and they grow tall, and this is going to be happen because the xylem is present in the plant cells and going to help the plants to move away from the gravity as well as to withstand the environmental stress. For example, if the if it's windy day and the wind is coming, it means that it can break the plant, but because the xylem is present, so it's going to help the plant to withstand that wind. Another function is the transport of signal. The xylem vessels, they also play important role in signaling within the plants. The chemical signals as well as the hormones, they can move through the xylem and help in the coordination within the plants, help them in the growth, development and response to the stimuli, environmental stimuli. For example, at one part of the plant, something is happening. For example, some pathogen is gaining entry and some chemical signals, they are produced. If xylem is not here, it means these signals, they will stay here, and the aerial parts, they cannot find out what actually is happening in this part of the plant. But because of the presence of the xylem, what is happening that these signals, they are taken with the water to the aerial parts of the plant, and this part here, it finds out, okay, something is happening here and we have to help this part of the plant to cope with that. So this is how the xylem is helping them in the transport of signals. The last function of xylem is the storage. The parenchyma cells of the xylem, they are going to store water as well as nutrients, so they will act as a reservoir, and they are going to help during the period of drought when the water availability is very less, or the nutrient scarcity when the nutrients are not present in the soil so that plants can use them. So what will happen that these parenchyma cells, they will provide the plants with water and nutrients so they can survive this period. The stored water can be released when needed to maintain turgor pressure as well as sustain the cellular functions. So these are the functions of xylem. Let's talk about the functions of phloem. Phloem also perform different functions in the plants, including transport of organic nutrients, translocation, support and protection, as well as signaling. The main and primary function of phloem is the transport of organic nutrients such as sugar, amino acids and hormones. They are transported throughout the plants by the help of phloem. You can remember this because the phloem, it starts with the P, and photosynthesis is also starts with the P. So it means that photosynthesis is going to make sugar, and that sugar is going to be taken by the phloem. So just to remember for the reference, phloem is also having P and photosynthesis is also having P. So they are going to be involved with the photosynthesis, and photosynthesis, it makes sugar. So sugar is going to be taken by the phloem to the different parts of the plant. So these nutrients, they are produced in the photosynthetic tissues such as leaves, as I already told you, and then they are transported to the other parts of the plants. So here we can see this is a two-way movement. The leaves, they are going to produce the sugar. The plant, the phloem, is going to take it to different parts of the plant, as well as, for example, if some leaves are here, then they are going to produce the sugar and they can move upward. So it's a two-way movement. The next function is translocation. It's going to facilitate the translocation of organic nutrients from the source. The source in this case are the leaves, which are producing sugars or synthesizing the sugar during the process of photosynthesis, and then they are going to take these nutrients from the source to the sink. The sinks are actually the tissues where they are going to be actively used, or they are going to be stored, for example, roots, growing birds, or the developing fruits. Another function of phloem is to support and provide protection. The phloem cells, they provide structural support to the plant, especially the outer layer of the stem. Because they are present in the outer layer, so anything happening to the outside of the plant, first encounter is going to be with phloem. So in this way, they are going to help the plant from the physical damage or the pathogens. For example, any cut happens here, and the pathogens, they are gaining entry. Because the phloem is here, that phloem is going to stop the entry of pathogens, and in this way it's going to protect the plant. The last function of phloem is signaling. Just like the xylem, the phloem is also involved in the signaling within the plants. The chemical signals as well as the hormones, they are going to move through the phloem and going to help in the growth, development, and responses to different environmental stimuli. So these are the functions of xylem and phloem. So that was our lesson on functions of xylem and phloem. If you have any question related to this topic, or if you wanted to learn any other topic, or you have suggestion about that, just let me know in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video.